to Canada. With more on this, we're joined in our Toronto studios by Norbu Sering. He is the president of the Canadian Tibetan Association of Ontario. Mr. Sering, we know that you helped coordinate the Dalai Lama's previous visit in 2004, but this visit is a much bigger deal, is it not?
Yes, Jacqueline, it was indeed better than and most being the most significant reasons this time. Last year, 2006, His Holiness been bestowed the Canadian, citizen, congressional, citizenship. That's why he's coming back to Canada this year. After the year he received a honorary citizenship. So for us as a Tibetan community in Toronto as well as Ontario and Canada, it brings like a lot of reasons to bring him back, because 2004 we have organized the spiritual events 2004, that Kala Chakra for world peace. And this is year he's coming back after 2 years now, and we have quite pleased and bring him back again to Canada, because after he's become a Canadian citizen. And as like an organizer this time also is, we are so excited to bring him back to, our Canadian Tibetan Culture Center, which is going to bless on October 31st morning.
So as you mentioned, yes, he did receive that honorary Canadian citizenship in 2006. He's back now. And this meeting is important because it's the first formal meeting with a Canadian Prime Minister. What is the hope for that meeting for your group?
Of hope, rather than hope, I should say it is really a good sign that our Prime Minister Stephen Harper decided to meet with His Holiness Dalai Lama. Whatever that comes out from this meeting, we are not expecting a huge changes, but at least it gives us a hope. We as a Canadian Tibetan has a hope that our leader Stephen Harper has decided to officially meet His Holiness Dalai Lama. That should be the way as a Canadian leader should act upon the shoulder to shoulder. The rest of the world is acting upon it. See, last week George Bush has and the U.S. Congressional has awarded the Congressional Gold Medal, that's highest civilian award to award. So Canadian the leaders should play an active role to recognizing and awarding him as a spiritual leader of Tibet.
As you mentioned, yes, George Bush I think it was about 2 weeks ago, maybe less than that, the Dalai Lama did receive that honorary or the Citizens Medal, and the U.S. did get some flack for that, right? China scolded the Americans for doing that. Do you think they're going to scold Canada for entertaining the Dalai Lama now? I
see, it's very clear, Jacqueline, that you are afraid of your dad. I think we need to stand what the fact is, and we shouldn't be dictated by the Chinese government. We have our own democratic government, so we need to know, our own government, what need to do it. We can't. Our government can't run by the third-party government. There is obvious USA and Canada and Germany and the European countries. Everybody stand up now. Who cares about what Chinese says?
Why are they standing up now? Do you think it has anything to do with China hosting the Olympics and being careful about what it does to protest the Dalai Lama's visits?
Not sudden. There will be no such impact like that. There's no such meaning of that one. I think the reality is that the fact is now highlighting in a universal, So every leader try to acknowledge now what the real His Holiness message to the world is, not to bring the, spread of the Chinese into two parts. In fact, he tried to bring the, Tibet into the China, but giving the fact that it has a minimum, liberty, freedom of your religion and the culture preservation.
You sound like a man with great hope.
Yes, definitely.
All right. Well, we certainly will be following the Dalai Lama's visit here in Canada and continuing some of that meeting tonight. So we do thank you for your time. Norbu Sering with the Canadian Tibetan Association.
Thank you, Jacqueline, having me here.
And in fact, we want to give you a reminder